Alright, hello everyone, it's Muddy Matt again. So, is it really? Okay, as long as my phone doesn't fall, this is fine. I just got from, just finished looking at the third mud site of the day, and this one, I'm really, intrigued by, and that's the word. It's very promising. So I'm not parked outside of it anymore. There's a substation nearby that I don't think they'll care if I park here for a few minutes because there's no one here, and I also don't see any cameras. So I took some pictures while I was at this site. Again, this is the third quarry that I stopped at today, and this one got the attention of one of my friends. If you can imagine what a bottom types in chat when they're excited but don't want to put it into words, they just want to put it into mumbles, that's what they responded with. So once I got that reaction from someone, I knew that what I had found was interesting, was worth looking into. So I can splice in the videos or the photos into this later so that you can see what I saw. Okay, we'll switch to portrait mode, and apparently Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, just came on the radio. Yep, sure did. I never thought I'd get rickrolled. Well, it's happened before. I've been rickrolled in my own car on this exact station. So I'll put up the photos that I took. There aren't that many because there just don't need to be. I got what I came for. So the place is set back from the road quite a bit. Now, let's first figure out, or let me first explain how I found this place. So this is all to all the people who are trying to find mud places and haven't done so, haven't been lucky, because maybe the mud map is pretty bare in their area or whatever. So just go into Google Maps and search for quarry. And if you're not comfortable trespassing at a quarry, I understand, but I think they're at least worth going to look at, because if you can't see any cameras, that's not a guarantee there aren't cameras, but if it's just some rundown place or if it's actually abandoned, there's a good chance that you can go in and no one will care. That is not legal advice, by the way. Please do not try to say I encourage you to go somewhere. Please do not break the law. This is all, advice for Minecraft. That's what Wendigoon says. It's all a joke in Minecraft. Anyway, from the satellite view, I saw two sort of pill-shaped ponds that were a creamy clay color. And this is what I showed to my friend, and my friend got very excited. So I just went there, and my main concern was that I wouldn't be able to get inside without being spotted by cameras. Because on the two pathways in, one goes by the office and one goes by a way station. So I know the office has cameras. I think the way station does too. But there is a large grass field next to the quarry. It's actually surrounded on all sides by the quarry. It's probably quarry land, but my thought is if I walk through this grass field, I will be too far away from the camera for them to recognize me. So they'll probably still be able to see me walking. I've got a bright green shirt and a pink skirt on. It's kind of hard to miss me, but as long as I didn't go too close to that camera, I think I'm okay. And I hope that people will only look at the footage if they have a reason to. And I'm hopeful that what I did is not leaving evidence behind that someone needs to go check the cameras. I'll get to that though. So, a while ago I saw this story about a prison in Brazil that's using geese to discourage the prisoners from leaving, and apparently it's working because geese are extremely territorial and just dicks in general. there was a pond with maybe 50 geese in it, and I was actually a little worried because if they saw me and they got angry, they would make a ruckus. And that might be something that the cameras pick up and want to pay attention to, because they might be motion sensitive, they might be audio sensitive, and they might, if they're loud enough, they might get the attention of neighbors. Now, I didn't see any houses on the street. There was a grain silo and it was a shed of some sort. A large pole barn, I think they're called, but no houses. So anyway, I walked around, I gave them plenty of distance, walked around, and got up to the pits, and I confirmed that if they're not clay, they're very similar. So I picked up a handful of the material in my hand. It was sitting outside the pit, so I didn't have to reach in and grab it. And it felt a lot like plaster, or yeah, just plaster. If you've ever done work on a house and you've picked up plaster of Paris or something like that, it was that kind of consistency, where it was too dry to be considered clay. I mean, it might still be clay, but it's not the sort of thing you'd put on a pottery wheel because it's much too dry. And I could tell that there was still lots of water in the pit, so this stuff looked very promising. So I found a handful of rocks and I chucked them into the clay, and they didn't sink that deep. It was maybe enough to swallow the rock but leave a noticeable impact. It'd be like if I sank all the way to here, you could still tell that there was something in there because in this case my hair is sticking out. So I didn't get to poke it with a stick. I've looked for a stick for a while and actually couldn't find one. Unfortunate, I know. The main problem is, and I'll put this image here, is that there is a building on the other side of these ponds, and I strongly suspect that there's a camera on it. The only way I'll be able to tell for sure is to, one, walk close enough to see with my own eyes, which is a dumb idea, or two, use binoculars. I do have binoculars, but I don't have them with me, so I can't do that today. But we can use common sense and infer it's probably a camera. So I have to make a decision. Is it smart to go here? Because these pits, if someone were to walk up to one, it will be very obvious what happened here. Unless I can make it seem like a deer did it, but why would a deer walk into the clay pit? It just doesn't make any sense. So it's a gamble. Now behind the two pits is a third pit that I didn't know about, and this is the main two ones are up on a hill. The third one is below the hill, so it's out of sight of this building, but it's much more a pond than it is clay. It's slowly filling with clay, I would imagine, but not much clay in it yet. And it's completely surrounded by vegetation, stuff I really don't want to walk through when I'm not wearing long pants. And honestly, I'm not sure I want to go in that pond. I don't know what's in it. Just quarry water and mud and all that is generally not something you want to play in, but we in this fetish have to take what we can get. So ultimately it's going to come down to, one, I have to come back, use my binoculars, or I have a telephoto lens on my camera, which I also don't have with me, and I can use to figure out if it's a camera. So then I can do some trigonometry and figure out what angle, try to figure out what angle it's looking at, and then try to guess what its view range is. Unless it's looking straight out at the ponds, and then it's just game over. There's no way to avoid being seen by it. So then we have to answer the second question, the cost-benefit analysis, to reference my econ class that I took in 2018. I think it was 2018. It's been a while. You have to decide how likely we think it is that someone will look at the footage, and then how likely it is that I can be identified. So my car, I'm pretty sure, is not visible from any cameras, but it is visible from the road. So if they really do their homework and try to track down people who drove by, for the record, I was there for maybe 20 to 30 minutes because it was quite a bit of a walk, and I don't think I heard a single car go by. Now I might just not have been paying attention, and it may have just been lucky. So they may be able to find a witness who saw my car if they look at the footage and see me. So I could, no, because then if I point my car, so I drive out instead of having to pull backward towards the road. I'll make a picture of this or something because I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. No matter which way I park, either a camera might see my license plate or someone driving by might see my license plate. And parking sideways is definitely going to arouse suspicion. Unfortunately, I have a license plate with a duck on it. It's Ducks Unlimited. They're a group that helps raise money to protect wetlands, of all things. I got it because I love ducks, but it's a Indiana plate that you don't see very much. I've seen maybe 2 of them since I learned about them. So I've had that plate for a year, and I've seen maybe 2 other of these plates. So they're not very common. It would definitely stick in someone's mind. Even if they can't remember the license plate number, they will at least probably remember that this had a duck on it. If they bother to look at my car. I don't know how often people drive by a car at the side of the road and really take a good look at it. I do because I get distracted easily, but some people probably just don't care. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I'm going to drive home. I've got 2 hours, a little more than 2.5 hours of daylight left in the day. So there really isn't enough time to go back to my main location, the one by my house, and do syncing. I mean, I could, but I would be very rushed. And honestly, I just don't want to. I want to still have time in my evening to do other things. So I might do a clothed shower video while I'm still dressed up. There we go. So now you know that I'm wearing my skirt. The skirt that you've probably come to recognize at this point, because I don't have that many clothes yet, and frankly, I really like wearing this. I might also do some shaving because I'm getting a little hairy now, also on my legs and stuff. I'm thinking about looking at not waxing, hair removal cream or a hair removal laser. Just depends on. The hair removal cream is not that expensive, but obviously you really need to be careful. The laser would be a much larger investment. The cheap ones I think are around $100. The nice ones are around $300 to $400. So yeah, I'm gonna drive home and put this on YouTube and UMD, I guess. And also I will, since I did go syncing earlier at the second quarry, which had real quicksand, that will definitely go on my UMD page. I can probably put bits and pieces of it on YouTube because you can't see. It's only like one time where I pull down my panties and you see my dick. And I don't think it's against the terms of service to be, at least when I'm wearing the shorts, I don't think that's against the terms of service. And if it is, they probably don't care because it's some fashion statement or whatever. I don't really know. YouTube is kind of weird and strange. There's, like I said, there's weird stuff on YouTube if you know how to find it. Not that I would know. It's just something people talk about. It's something everyone says. The weird corner of YouTube, that's been a joke for as long as YouTube has been a thing. So yeah, this is all just speculation. I don't actually know about it. Of course I know about it. It's because I find the mud videos too.